Have you ever wanted to capture the stunning sunset you have been admiring in your backyard or while driving through the countryside? In this video we'll explore innovative techniques to create breathtaking clouds and lush grass shades. Plus I'll share some of my charming happy mistakes that turn into creative breakthroughs. Remember, every error is a lesson in disguise. Let's embark on this artistic journey together and bring our Outback Farm sunset to life. If you're interested, stick around. This is gonna be my underpainting, and I'm using only 5 colors, and using my palette knife to apply the paint to the panel. I find it this much more easier because I can get a lot of paint on the panel first. And after that I use the coarse bristle brush, spread it out, and then the final blending brush, which is finer bristle for blending final smooth finish. With a larger panel size, it's always difficult to estimate how much paint you need. So I always seem to put less paint what I actually need. But I suppose you always can mix more later on. And like I realized that I need a little bit more darker in the top of the panel, so I just mixing up a little bit more darker ultramarine blue on the top. Using the coarse bristle brush first, then that's for spreading the paint nice and smoothly, and then I usually use the finer blending brush afterwards to make it a really smooth surface. When you do use the blending brushes, you have to once in a while actually wipe it on cloth that it doesn't get dirty, because every time when you use it then you get another color on your brush, and then when you blend it with it, it goes all mixed up and doesn't give you a good result. And here I'm tapping those clouds with my paper towel, and before I use the brush as well to get the random prints out. With the oil painting, you do get your fingers sometimes a little bit dirty with the oil paint, but only takes just go wash your hands. It's not dangerous to you. So even me, I just get the fingers sometimes a little bit messy, but I always keep it clean. I go wash my hands once in a while. And just adding a little bit more paint is grey to get those cloud colors, and again tapping up. And what I do on my palette, I smooth it up, spread it out, and then I tap it with my paper to get those clouds out just randomly. Don't need to be too concerned about it, just to get the color on the panel. And then twist the paper as well. I twisted the paper towel, and then I just add some Payne's grey and titanium white mixed, then getting that nice cloud colors on the top. And then I blend it. Always blend it after when you have printed those clouds. And above the masking tape, the blue masking tape, I got the titanium white, and now I'm just spreading that diarrhea yellow on the top of it, so it's not so bright, so it gonna mixed up. So I'm using the palette knife to apply it. So it's, and now I'm just taking that blue masking tape out. So it's done the job. I know where the horizon is now, and I just blend it. And when I'm applying the paint on the panel, I tweak it a little bit. I add a little bit more red to get it a little bit more orange color. And with the red, you gotta be careful because it is a very strong color and it does change very quickly. So now the bottom of the panel, I'm gonna focus on the orange color, which is the red earth, what we have in Australia. So this is gonna be my underpainting, which is shines underneath when I do those grass, land, and so on. This is one technique for with the underpainting. You just get that undercover painting to be nice and bright. Now we are ready for the next second layer. Because I'm from northern Queensland, which is tropic area, it does dry very quickly. Depending where you live, make sure that the painting is nice and dry. It might take a couple days to get dry properly. Liquid original is a good medium to use for your oil paint. It does help your oil paint dry quicker. So I don't use linseed oil, because if you use linseed oil, your painting needs to dry maybe even 1 month before you can do anything. Like you can see, I'm using different paint spray from different company. Winsor Newton has a little bit more greys color than the Langridge. It's a little bit more bluey gray. So you don't have to use 2 different paint spray, because you can actually mix your own paint spray as well. It's only when you have those colors, it's only convenient to use them. And when I finish them, I just use what I have, or I mix my own paint spray or whatever color I need to mix. Like you can see, I just tapping those clouds again with my paper towel. I sometimes have a twist paper towel, and sometimes I just crumpled paper towel, and I just blend it up and tapping those clouds however I want them, and then I just blend it. Now, because the underpainting is all dry, it doesn't mix that paint underneath, because otherwise that yellow paint would change the color if it would be fresh. So that's the trick of the underpainting as well. It doesn't mix with the color what you put on the top. Only what it does, it shines underneath. And in this case, if I would put the fresh paint, blue paint on the top, the fresh yellow paint, it would go green. So that's the whole trick for it, to keep the colors pure, or another word, clean. I just add some red on Payne's Gray to make it a little bit purple color, which is usually the sunset colors as well. In this stage, when you put your paint on the panel, you can shape it with your paper towel. You can push it and pull with your paper towel, put it however you want it. And don't forget to step back and have a look how it looks. And if you're happy, just leave it as it is. And now I'm gonna leave it overnight and get back to it if I need to for the sky and the clouds as well. But I can always tweak it with my glazing technique, and it's just adding up the transparent color, which is usually in the end I do all that. I started doing the farmhouse first. Usually I do it in the end, but I decided to do it a little bit differently. I do those buildings first, and then do the surrounding bush land and the trees and the road as well, and the picket fence and all that. Just mixing up the right value with the colors first before I start painting the farm houses, using the palette knife for easier straight edge. Plus painter's blue masking tape helps you out to keep the straight lines underneath as well. You can use the brush if you will, but I find it this way you can get those very, very good straight lines, and then I use the brush to blend it or push the paint a little bit more downwards or sideways, whatever you want to do it. If you are interested about the palette knife techniques and learn more about it, I will do more videos about it in the near future. I have a video on playlist if you want to check it out with only palette knives I'm using on that painting, which is the snowy mountain painting, and just a little bit of brush I was using in the end to do the glazing technique, but if you want to check it out, it's in the playlist. It's a snowy mountain palette knife technique video, but like I said, I will do in the future more about the palette knife technique videos. And always remember that you can always tweak it with your glazing technique afterwards. When the painting is nice and dry, you can always add some transparent colors on the top of the other colors. In Australia outback, the farm usually have those windmills. It's part of the landscape of the Australian outback, and I wanted to do a little bit differently. What I usually do, I use the palette knife to get the straight lines, and then I just add up those plates with my tiny angle brush. Painter's blue masking tape is really good way to isolate whatever you do as well. Like you can see, my palette knife is going a little bit over the masking tape, and it's just nice and clean when I take the masking tape out. And I'm just leaving the painting dry overnight so I can do the third layer now. And because the houses are now nice and dry, I can actually place the masking tape over it, and now I can start tapping those little trees on the horizon with my little paper towel, tiny trees, and then I take the masking tape out and using my angle brush to wipe over underneath as well, and then I place the masking tape just underneath, about 1 inch or say 10 mil, whatever you want to do, and then just tapping those trees again, those bushland. Do the same process again, wiping with my angle brush underneath, just underneath the bush, and you get that little shade on the line in the fields. You can also use your paper towel to wipe it down underneath the bushland. And I'm just using the twisted paper towel to get those branches and tree trunks. And it's just handy to get those very tiny branches, bushland and trees. And this methods I actually learned from the YouTuber artist. His name is David Stewart, so I recommended to check up his channel. He's a really clever English artist, so it's good to find out all these little tricks and methods how to do things. Now I'm just adding up some burnt amber and using the paper towel as well. At first I'm blending it with the brush, and then I'm using all these. I mark it with my paper towel. Like you can see, I can just highlight the road, and using the brush as well. With this method, when you're using a hard bristle brush, it gives that nice grass look. And if the burnt amber is a little bit stiff to move around, you just tip your brush into the turpentine and wipe the turpentine off, obviously, otherwise it drips all over the place. And then you just push the paint how you want it. And here I'm using the twisted paper towel methods to do those grass twigs. And back to my palette knife again, doing the farm fence. the wire fence, which is easy with the palette knife. So what happened to my little happy mistake is just accidentally what I left the painting overnight, and it was perfectly dry where that burnt amber area is, and I just wanted to add a little bit more glazing transparent color, burnt sienna, which is a little bit of reddish color, and I was using the hard bristle brush. And usually glazing you use a nice soft brush. What happened that the burnt amber color start coming off, but luckily I just found it early enough that I just left it as it was, and it just happened to be not too bad, so I just left it as it was. So these are the transparent colors what I'm using in the end. You just have to make sure that your painting is totally dry, like what happened to me on that mistake. It was just a little bit fresh still, so it's better to leave it for a few days dry properly, and then you can do the glazing. If you have watched this video this far, I have to congratulate you, and I hope you have found some value of this video and learned something about it. But anyway, I'll really appreciate your time, and happy painting, and keep up with your exploration of oil painting. Thank you so much. Bye now.